नमस्कार माझ्या मराठी मित्रांनो, तुमचं स्वागत आहे मराठी AIML चॅनल वरती. सर्वप्रथम सर्वांना शिवजयंतीच्या हार्दिक शुभेच्छा आणि त्याच राजाला प्रणाम करून आपण आजचं लेक्चर चालू करूया. तत्पूर्वी आजचं लेक्चर चालू करण्यापूर्वी एक छोटीशी एका सेकंदात रिव्हिजन. आपण काल बघितलं होतं लास्ट व्हिडिओमध्ये, आय मीन टू से, की व्हॉट इज द टाइप्स ऑफ मशीन लर्निंग अँड इन स्पेसिफिक त्यामध्ये आपण बघितलं होतं इन्स्टन्स बेस्ड मशीन लर्निंग अँड मॉडेल बेस्ड मशीन लर्निंग. आणि जसं मी तुम्हाला प्रॉमिस केलं होतं की आपण आज येणाऱ्या व्हिडिओमध्ये प्रॅक्टिकल्स करणार आहोत, हाऊ टू इम्प्लिमेंट द सिम्पल मशीन लर्निंग अल्गोरिदम. आज तेच आपण मशीन लर्निंग मॉडेल इम्प्लिमेंट करणार आहोत. स्टेटमेंट तेच सेम आहे. जर तुम्हाला प्रॉब्लेम काय आहे हे जर माहित नसेल तर लास्टचा जो व्हिडिओ आपला झाला होता ज्याच्यामध्ये मी मशीन लर्निंग ML बेस्ड व्हॉट इज अ ML बेस्ड मॉडेल अल्गोरिदम कसं वर्क करतं, ओके, त्याच्यामध्ये तो प्रॉब्लेम एक्सप्लेन केला होता, तो नक्की बघा. आपला प्रॉब्लेम काय होता? तर प्रॉब्लेम होता वी हॅव टू फाइंड आउट द इज मनी मेक्स हॅपी टू पीपल ऑर नॉट. आणि आपण त्या कालच्या याच्यामध्ये बघितलं होतं की इफ यू हॅव गिव्हन अ कंट्री अलॉंग विथ देअर GDP, दिस इज द लाईफ सॅटिस्फॅक्शन. ओके, म्हणजे आता आपल्याला काय करायचं, आपल्याला असं ML मॉडेल इम्प्लिमेंट करायचंय ज्याच्यामध्ये सपोज जर आपल्याला एक नवीन कंट्री आणि जर त्याचं GDP आपल्याला दिला तर लाईफ सॅटिस्फॅक्शन किती असेल हे आपल्याला ML बेस्ड मॉडेलने काय करायचंय, कॅल्क्युलेट करायचंय. आणि त्यासाठी आपण लिनियर मॉडेल यूज केलं होतं आणि आय एक्सप्लेन ऑल द थिंग्स. नाउ आय एम नॉट गोइंग इन much depth. Okay, let's go and jump into the implementation. But if you miss the previous video, please don't and watch that. Okay, now first and foremost important thing in the machine learning model implementation that we require few libraries. Okay, these what is libraries? These libraries help us to do our task. Okay, otherwise if you go everything from scratch then it will require hell lot of time. So good people in the earth, okay, who have implemented those library to make our work easy. Okay, so let's start with first import the main library. I will going to import first matplotlib. मी मी तुमच्या बरोबर मी रिक्वेस्ट करतोय की तुम्ही सुद्धा माझ्या बरोबर हा करा. ओके, आय एम गोइंग इन व्हेरी स्लो. आय विल एक्सप्लेन each and every parts. Okay, so I'm using the Google Colab. You can use the Google Colab for this because it is not required to install anything on your PC. It is running on the Google Cloud platform and most of the libraries are available, so no need to install it. Yes, but this is a first lecture. I'm not going in the explain how to install libraries. In coming days I'll definitely explain, but the motto of this lecture to understand how the glimpse of that how the ML model works exactly. We saw the theoretical part, but we are looking into the practical steps today. So matplotlib, so this library help us to draw the graph, to draw the diagram. Okay, similarly with what we have saw here. So this kind of graph implementation we use this library. So draw a graph. Okay, second, next library we are using is the numpy as a NP. So as a NP is aliases. Okay, instead of using numpy every time I use NP. Okay, so as stands for the aliases for that library. Okay, so numpy is mostly used for the mathematical matrix or array calculations of the data. Okay, so it is a mathematical library, mathematical computation, in short. Okay, so why we require, I'll definitely, as I haven't explained, but I'll explain in short. Machine learning model use on the data, not textual data, it's a numeric data. And to do this numerical computation, see, we have did something called as a multiplication, addition, and then answer. So everything happens on the numerical data. For this numerical computation, addition, multiplication, we require a library, and for that we are using the NumPy. Next library we are going to use is the Pandas. Import Pandas as a PD. Why it requires? This require to read the data and to understand the data. Okay, so whenever we have the data, definitely we require data. What data we require? We require this data: the country name, the GDP, and their life. So we have to read this data from somewhere, right? So to read and to save into the data frame, we require Pandas library. And the foremost important library is a sklearn, that is scikit-learn. Someone says scikit-learn, someone says sklearn short. So in sklearn, we are using a linear model. Okay, in linear model, definitely we are going to use some, there are other many types of linear model, but specifically linear model. Sklearn library help us to provide algorithms. So that algorithm we can use directly. So yesterday we understand the last lecture, the linear model, right? So this linear model help us to understand the so no need to implement the linear model from scratch. They have already implemented those linear model. We just use those parameter, okay, those function of linear model, give our parameter, and that those library will help you to train. So sklearn is very popular in the industry for the using those library. So I hope so. This is the first part. These are the libraries are required for the implementations. Okay, so let me run it. Yes, green marks means this block of code is successfully completed. Now, let's start from the thinking that how one machine learning guy or the data scientist guy implement the problem. First step is to bring those library which are required. Okay, now my first part, I want to load the data. So let's start and load the data. So in loading data, okay, I use which library? Read the data, I use Pandas library. So for that, I'll use PD. PD is the aliases. Then I have the data in CSV format. I have the data in CSV format. Now, if you look at my screen, I already load those data from the hands-on ML GitHub. Okay, now one more important thing, the code which I have implemented, it is not my code, it is already implemented by the book which we are referring, hands-on in machine learning. I'm referring that code and I'm explaining. Again, this data is not created by me, this data is given by that author. We are only understanding the code and the thinking of any one of the data scientists. Okay, so please remember. Right, so I have got this data. Okay, I haven't made this data, I just uploaded here. How to upload? You just click on upload and then upload it here. Okay, okay, you just upload the data here. So in this way you can upload the data. Now once I upload the data, okay, it is very important to read those data. So how can I read? PD, read CSV. I'll copy the path. Okay, I need this. Okay, I have these two files. Okay, let me give it into the comma in comment section, and I have to save this data in some of the variable. Okay, let me say the name as a OECD BLI. Okay, this is the variable I have saved it. Okay, and now let me run this. Okay, it's completed. Now let's me look at the what is inside this. Okay, data frame. Okay, so this is called as again what, not this type of variable is a data frame. I'll show you what is the type of this variable. Don't worry, I'll explain in my Python lecture what is type, each and every steps in the Python. But as of now, look at, so it is a Pandas data frame. So type of the variable is a data frame. So to look into the data frame data, there is a function called head. So let's use that function head. Oh, it's error, I use wrong name. Oh, sorry, it's a underscore. See, so we have this kind of data. So let's go through the data, but looking into this data, I think it's okay, it's clumsy. So let me just open the spreadsheet so I can show it here. Okay, so this is the something data we have, which have the location, country, indicators. Okay, so here is the country's name, indicator, what are the indicators are available. Indicators means now in our lives satisfaction, we only require the life satisfaction stuff, right? We don't require anything. Okay, so they have given a many indicators that what makes people high, make people happy. But for us to make the people happy is money. Okay, but how we can identify people happy or not? And for that we use the parameter for as a life satisfaction. So let me just uncheck it and I'll show you. Yeah, here it is. So this is the life satisfaction value. Okay, and where the value is given somewhere here, it's a value of that respective things. You can also look into this. Okay, same thing is coming here, simple. Okay, next, the next part is that there are values. Okay, those values may contain some comma, like if the value contains some thousands, okay, there is a comma, but we avoid it because we don't have any value which is related to the, it's all in 1.1. I'll show you when we read the GDP per capita things. Okay, now we read the data of OECD billing, BLI 2015. It's a 2015 data, so we read that. Now what is our objective? Our objective is to, so we got this, right? We got the country, we got the life satisfaction. Definitely we filter out the way, but in a way we got this. Okay, but we don't have this GDP. So in real world also we don't get data as we what we want. We need to do some kind of pre-processing. Okay, now this data I have in the GDP per capita CSV file. Okay, so the my 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 motto is how anyhow I have to form this data frame. Okay, I have to form this data frame. So let me read the GDP per capita CSV. Okay, see, in real world, same way we are working. It is not something we got the data and we run the model. Okay, so let me read the data. Okay, so I'll use again Pandas library, and it is a CSV format. So I'll use read CSV, and then I'll give the actual path of that CSV format. Otherwise, it will throw the error. Okay, and I'll use the uh, variable names. Let's say GDP per capita only. Data frame name. Fine. So let me run. Okay. Now see, while running this, it is giving something UTF-8 code. Why it is giving this error? Because it contains of UTF-8 entry data and therefore it is not able to read it. Please look into that because this is very important. When you are working with the actual things, you will also face such a kind of issue, right? Such a issues. So this will help you to solve that error. So I have this encoding. So how I can remove those encoding? I'll use encoding here. Sorry. Okay, it's come there. Encoding. Now this encoding is something called as a Latin 1 encoding. Okay, I know because I already did that, but when you work, you will get to know what kind of encoding it look like. Okay, it is a trial and error things. But just to save the time, I know that the Latin 1 encoding is a best one here, so I used Latin 1. So let's run it, whether we will get the error or not. Oh, now again we get the error. It is saying that expected the 3 fields in line 3 but saw 4. Now, why this error is coming? Because if you see there, I'll show you here. If you see the sheet here, okay, it is something like that. It is not in a proper tabular format. And if you see the country, subject, description, unit, scale, all the columns are clubbed together. So it is very important to apply the delimiter so that we can get the tabular format data. Now I can see that it's a space. So let me use the space to look into that data. So I apply here delimiter. It's coming. No, it's fine. Okay. It's a space slash t. So slash t, it is used for the delimiter purpose. Okay, let's run it. It's what happened. Let's see, we got, okay, I think the spelling mistake. What is the correct spelling? Delimiter. Okay, it's a mi. Yeah, now it's read completely. Now let's look at the data. Now see, now we got the correct tabular structure data. Now see, some time ago I explained you, there is a one parameter called 1000. So if you look at 2015 is our target column, not target column, I mean to say the column we are looking for, because this contains the GDP value. And in the GDP value, if you look at, there is a comma contains everywhere, right? Whether does, when we are doing any mathematical calculation, are we using comma? No. Comma, it is just to separate it how to read. So comma help us to read the 1000 value, 1 lakh value, 2 lakh value, 3 lakh value for the easy reading. Okay, but for mathematical calculation we do not require such comma value, right? So to just to remove those comma value, use, there is a one more parameter is there called as 1000. Okay, so let me apply those. Let me, it's coming, yeah, it is coming, thousands, and 1000 contains what? Comma here. So I'll apply the comma. Let me read it out. See, now the comma has gone. See, comma is there, but comma is not here, because we don't require those comma when we are doing the mathematical calculations. So this is, I think, very best I think example how to read the CSV. Read CSV is not just to give the CSV file. It contains the many more things. I can actually run this code directly in the code, right? And show you, okay, so we have run the code and this is the output. But I just wanted to show you that what the importance of each and every parameter. Okay, that help you for the actual reading. So encoding help you to read the encoded form of data. You will come to know, you can refer the documentation. Delimiter, if the data is kind of whatever delimiter, you can use that. And just to remove this thousands comma, I'll use thousands comma. So this way now I can see the data is in the proper readable format what we are looking for. Okay, now till now what we got the country and their GDP. Other parameters we are not looking for, but yeah, but that information is not available in the previous. That's why we require this CSV. So country, GDP, and from the OECD we got the country name and uh, the indicators. Here we got all the indicators. We need to filter it out, by the way, but we got what we want. Now the most important things part, still guys, we haven't applied any machine learning algorithm. Still everything is going in the pre-processing steps, right? In the pre-processing, let me add the cells here. Okay, pre-processing steps here. So now suppose let's check about the, is this uh, CSV file contain any null value? Okay, if there is null value, we need to do some kind of steps. But let's see if it contains a null value. GDP per capita. Okay, this is the variable. Now to check the null value, we use function called is null. It contains any null value, and I want to look into that, what each column, how many null value contains in each column, right? So I use sum axis equal to 0. Axis 0 means it's column wise, it will give the column wise null value, right? So let me print it out. What is the problem? Okay, it's is null. Yeah, so it is giving the, so subject description country doesn't contain any null value. Okay, Web subject match descriptor contains null value, init contains null value, scale contains null value, country contains null value, and this type contains this type of null value. But I want to look at what type of null value it contains. So to read this kind of value, we'll go with the one. There is a way to do this. Okay, so what I can do that, I'll just mark one df data frame equal to GDP per capita. Okay, again I use, let me copy paste just to save the time. Okay, is same function again here. Let me use same here. Okay, now what I'm looking for, I want to check okay, if units contain the null value, where it is. If scale contains the null value, where it is, where it is for each row. Okay, so I'll use the any, and then I use axis because I want column wise information, right? So 0 stand for row wise information. Okay, and the 1 stand for the column wise information. Okay, and let me read out. Yeah, see, so country doesn't contain, so it is nothing, but it gives those which contains the null value. See, the subject description contains the nan, it's 1. Unit contains the 1. Scale contains the 1, so here it is 1. Okay, and the country specific contains 2, so it is nan. So it's specifically giving the nan, so we no need to use any kind of extra parameter. Sometimes what happen, I'll tell you, sometimes they have mentioned not available, or sometimes they have mentioned as a na. Okay, so in that scenario we have to explicitly mention in your CSV format na value means what. Okay, na value means what. So if na value contains something that not available, so for me not available is a na. I may not mention as a nan. Okay, so in that case I'll mention na value here in this data frame. I'll mention, I'll see you na. Yeah, it's a na value. So I'll mention a, for me, those who have given the na value is nothing but not available. So in that case, what happened, wherever there is not available, I mark those as a nan value. But in my case, I think it is giving the correct, because whatever nan is there, it is giving that actual result. And when you read the data, or those who have given, they will help you to understand that things. Okay, so this is the stuff. Okay, now, so we understand these are the nan value and it's reflecting correctly. I no need to mention anything. Okay, now let's move into the next code. Now, what is important is that if you look into this OECD data, I got all the data, but I don't want all the data. I just want the data for the life satisfaction country and the life satisfaction value. But here, if you look at the inequality, the type of inequality is, I'll show you here. The type of the inequality is total. Then MN says main. So here it is a code main. Women. Okay, but not going all the things, we just looking for the total things. So I want the total. Where is the total? Wherever the indicator total, give me that data. So how can I do it? Let me say OECD BLI. So this is my filter data. Okay, and I use the data from OECD BLI. Correct, OECD BLI. Okay, and I want only the indicator. So the column here I use, okay, it is, see, this is very nice, it is giving automatically. So where it is wherever it is an indicator total, give me that data only. Let me run. Yeah, so see, I'll show you. Oh, what happened is OECD BLI, BLI indicator equal to are we using correct one? OECD BLI, oh sorry, It's a inequality. We use, rather than indicator, we use inequality. Let me, because here, if you look at this is a column name, inequality. TOT is the indicator name, but the column name is a inequality. Okay, inequality total. See, yeah, we got the correct one. We use this column indicator, and indicator doesn't contain any TOT. That's why it was giving the blank result. Okay, but we want inequalities total only. We are not going for any other value, men or women. Okay, so total. So we got the data. Now the most important thing, the indicator contains the life certification value. So what we are looking for, the country name, the life certification value. So it must come here. Okay, I'll show you in the spreadsheet what we are, then I'll show you the what code I'm going to do that. So see, in the OECD, we have this country, right? And we want country as a column name and life certification as a column name, and for each country we want value. So now for country and for their respective value it is coming, but life certification is here, but we want this as a column. So generally for this stuff in spreadsheet we use a pivot table. I hope those guys are using the Excel sheet very rigorously. Okay, daily they are much aware about the pivot, but for the just a basic, for those who don't understand, let me explain. This is something we can achieve using the pivot table. I'll also show you the one of the article of, for that we are using Pandas data from pivot table. So here it will help you to understand. See, so this is the data frame where foo column contains 1122, bar contains this abcd, batch contains this value, and zoo contains. So this is what data frame suppose we have. Okay, so when I do use this pivot table, what I have achieved, I want my foo as an index, right? Foo as an index. So this will come into the index type. Then I want my column name as a bar. So what happened, wherever they form a, they form this value as a column. So I have three different variable a, b, c. So it will give me a, b, c. Okay, and their respective value as per the bar. So what this, let's say this foo contains 1. Okay, so wherever it is a 1, for 1 related to a, it contains 1. So 1a1, 1b contains 2, so 1b2, 1c contains 3, so 1c3. So I think something we are looking for the same. So for our bar is nothing but the that inequality indicator, that is life certification we want here, and we want their respective value. So let's jump into our code and let's see how we can achieve the same thing. Let me add some here code here. Okay, so what we have here, OECD filter. Okay, this is something we are going to use now. OECD filter dot pivot. Okay, we are using pivot here because this is my pandas data frame. I use their pivot function. Okay, and then I'll use index. So I want index is what? I want index as a country. Let me copy the name as it is, otherwise it will give me error. Okay, I want country. Then I want my column name as a life certification value. So I'll mention the columns as a this indicator, column as a indicator, and then I want my value. Yeah, values is equal to values. So where it is values value. Okay, yeah, here it is. Let me copy this. Okay, so this way. Let me just save into this variable so that you will also See, now this way we got the country name, their lives, those indicators come here. Okay, all this. Now we are looking for which one? Life situation. So this one. So we want country, we want life situation and their respective value. So this is the help we got from the pivot. I hope you understand. So let's move a bit faster. Okay, so we got that data. Okay, now we got this data. Now in the GDP per capita, we are looking for something country and their this, but this 2015 confused me, so let me rename the column name. Now how to rename the column name? Let's look at here. So our GDP per capita, let me rename this as also as well filter. Okay, GDP per capita dot rename. Okay, it's come rename, and I want to rename column. What column? It must give in the dictionary format. The column name is 2015. I want to rename with the name call as a GDP per capita. Sorry. Okay, GDP per capita. Let's look at the verify that whether it is changed or not. See, yeah, it is changed to GDP per capita. Okay, again here if you look at the index is a 0, 1, 2, 3, but I want my index as a country similar like a OECD. Okay, so let me change the make the country as a index. To make the country as an index, there is a method called as a set index. Yes, okay, set index. So I want let me copy, it's best. Country as a set index, and I do not want, I want to make the changes in the in same in the same table. Okay, so I make that as a in place is equal to true. Okay, in place is equal to true. So let's look into that data. See, now country become a index. I hope you are able to find out the difference. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3 as a first index. Now I mark the country as a index. Now why I did that? Because I want to do the merging. Okay, I want to do the merging. Now how can I do the merging? Okay, because now I want the GDP per capita. Okay, I want to merge these two tables, OECD BLI, which I have made the formatted like this, and the GDP per capita. Now to do the merging, we use the function of Pandas called merge. Okay, of merge, and I want to merge my left column of merging is a OECD filter. Okay, with right table, is a okay, I think let me give into yeah, right, yeah, my right is the GDP, yeah, GDP per capita filter, and also I have to maintain their index from the left, index, from the left table. I want to maintain the left index. See, if you look at this highlighted part, it is a boolean type, so I mark as a false or true. I want to make left index as also true. Even I have to maintain the right index as well. Yeah, so I merge it. Let me it's a full, let me save into the variable data frame full country stats. Okay, yeah, let's run that. Let me show you. Now see, so now you understand why I make the same, because see, whenever we're doing the concatenation, it is very important that it happens with the same type of data. So I know that country in my that OECD BLI data frame and the GDP is same. So I want to merge those two tables. So now see, if you can look at the country, come here, and their indicators, all the indicators are copied from OECD. And if you, let me scroll right, if you look at here, we got all the life certification value from OECD. Let's look at whether it, are we able to achieve the GDP per capita information. See, we got the GDP per capita. Now we got what we are looking for, but we want, okay, now one more thing. In the GDP per capita, it's are the unsorted way. So let make them sorted from the ascending order. Okay, so I'll make full country stats dot sort values. Okay, I want to sort this table from what? GDP per capita, and I want to make changes in there only. In place equal to true. Let's look at the data. Yeah, we got the sorted things. Let's look at the GDP per capita. Yeah, we got the sorted 8669, then 9009, 9054, 9437. In earlier table, it is in unsorted way. So I have make the table in sorted manner. So function we use, sort the values. Simple. Okay. Next. Now it is very important to, now we want only the data which we are looking for. So let me jump what we are, because this is very important. We are looking for, okay, there other than, let me show you the Excel sheet. Okay, so now we are looking for country, life certification, and their GDP. This is what we are looking for, right? Let me delete this. Now we got all the things from the GDP and OECD. Now we want this type of table. Okay, so what I can do that, let me make filter here, full country filter equal to full country stat. Yeah, full country stats, and I want only their two tables, because anyhow index will come as it is. There is no need to do. I want only GDP per capita value. I think it's small and capita. Okay, comma, we want, okay, let me see if I can copy paste directly. Second. Yeah, so here it is. I copy. Okay, now we got these things. Let me check it out. Yes, so this is what we got. Country name, GDP per capita. So this way all, I think it's good amount of time we just invest in the filter out. And I think same thing happen in the real project. Definitely same thing happen in the real projects as well. Okay, now the most important thing now is to do the modeling. Now how can I do the modeling? I want my data, that is feature. Let me consider this as a X is my feature which I want to give. For that I use numpy. There is a concatenation things. See, so it will do the concatenation. Okay, because see, at the end, what kind of data I want? Sorry, it's not. I want to give the numeric data. Okay, so I'll pass the whole data in the numerical way. So for that we use the np.c. Okay, so that it makes the two-dimensional of data. Okay, from that I want to give this GDP per capita. Okay, so this is what I got. One second, I think I given a mistake. Space is here. Okay, I'll show you. See, it's a 2D data. Okay, this is because at the end this is a mathematical, and we are going to do the mathematical multiplication and addition. I already shown in the previous lecture. Okay, so for that I fetch the information X. This is my source data. I want to capture the target data into the Y. For that I use NPC and then full country filter. Okay, and in that I'll capture the value. This is the line. Let me add the code here. Y. Okay, so everything captured in the Y. Now if you look into the dimension of, it's a 2-dimensional. For that we use NDIM. Okay, sorry, X is the capital, not small. So it's a 2-dimensional data, and my Y is also a 1-dimensional data. Let's verify. It's a 2-dimensional data. See, it's a 2 NDIM also 2, and X and dimensional data is also 2. Now this thing till now I hope you understand. Let's do the visualization. Okay, so to do the visualization we use full country filter. Okay, for that we use plot as a method, and we use a scatter plot. To use the scatter plot we use the function called kind scatter, comma, my X is the GDP per capita. Let me copy this. GDP per capita, and my y-axis will be the this value. Okay, I have given this data to the plot, it will plot, but to visualize I use the method clause called show, plot dot show. Yeah, see, able to see the things. Plot is not defined. I think we have used PLT, matplotlib PLT. Okay, as I explained, PLT, I made analysis of matplotlib as a PLT. So plt.show. So I got this data, and somewhere I observed that this is a linear in fashion. If I draw the line here, okay, so let me just use the draw here. If I mark the line here, okay, something I look at, this is a linear in function. Okay, so for that we use the linear algebra. Okay, so a linear model. Okay, so for that we require to use the sklearn. Okay, so to build that model we call sklearn library, and then linear model. In linear model we use the linear regression. I already explained this is a linear regression method. So this way I build the linear model. Now after the build the model, it is very important to train that model on this data which you have given. So to train we use fit method, model fit. My X is my feature, and also I have to give their result, okay, their label. So Y is my the label. So X contains the GDP per capita and Y contains the result, that is the life satisfaction value. So let me train. See, training is completed. After the training is completed, okay, what is important things to training is completed, to do the prediction. Okay, so now training is completed, we got the training. Now let's do the prediction. Okay, so this code, let me write down here, this code is for the load the model, this code is for the train the model on data, and now this is for the prediction. Let's say there is a country called Cyprus, okay, which has a GDP, let's say 22587. Oh, sorry, it's a 33587. Okay, it's okay. 33587 is the GDP, and I want to do the prediction. So let me say print, okay, and for the prediction we use the predict method. Model dot predict and given the x. Okay, that's a x. Let's mention x new or x, yeah, x new. X new. Okay. Let's see whether it will give the result or not. Yes, it is giving the 6.5. Why I'm giving this two square box? Because it is a two-dimensional data. So my input must be a two-dimensional. So this way we have implemented our first model, and you can give the GDP of any country, it will help you to give the prediction. So this way we are able to achieve our implemented our first model. I think now you understand how to implement the model using the linear. So if you look at our most of the time, it is going in the data pre-processing, data adjusting, and in real world scenario also same thing happen, because implementing, training the model, it much easier than that. Reason behind that, because the library is available, you just need to import it, use the method, train it, and do the prediction. But the very important thing, it is not required that the results are up to the mark. Okay, if that result are not up to the mark, you may need to use the different algorithm, let's say knn, k nearest neighbor, or anything like that. Okay, still if you don't achieve the result, you can use the other features. Like here we have used only the lives, we have used the only few parameters. Okay, but there are the other parameters are also available, like employment, let me use the mouse. Okay, employment rate, health, air pollution. Because here we are going only with the single feature, we may need to use the other feature to train the data very accurately. But this is very simple model we have done just to and to explain you how the ML model we are implemented in real world. So in summary, we have studied the data. I think that takes a lot of amount of time in today's lecture, right? Okay, then we selected the model, that is linear regression. Then we train that model on data. Now, as I explained, the train the model means finding out the parameter, that is beta 0 and the beta 1. But here we haven't done anything explicitly. The model itself, which is a sklearn we are using, the itself, it does that internally and find the best fit line, which minimize the cost function. Okay, then apply that model in for the prediction. And in general, as I mentioned, I'll definitely give the most important the keywords. So the keyword in general practice, we are using inferencing. Prediction is nothing but the inferencing. So don't confuse yourself. Prediction is different and inferencing, both are the same. So whenever we are doing prediction, okay, it means we are doing inferencing. So this way we have, I think, completed our first chapter. And in the first chapter we learn what is machine learning, why we need machine learning, types of machine learning, and the typical project workflow. In upcoming lecture we see the last topic of this first part, that is main challenges of machine learning. Till that time, thank you for watching. Practice it thoroughly. I'll share you this notebook in my YouTube link. Okay, you can practice on your own. Okay, thank you so much and all the best.